Alright, we are back on gaming, and I want to say this now. I have to speak up a little bit louder because I don't know if you can hear what I hear in the background, which is a lot of work going on, like construction-wise. So I'm going to be projecting my voice a bit louder today, okay? Not to the fact that I'm angry, because to be quite honest, the information I'm reading right now is actually pretty hilarious. We have some serious issues to get to, though, but we are not going to start with EA. No, we're not going to start with EA. I will get to that in a minute, alright? I want to start with one Anita Sarkeesian. That's right. Now, for those who don't know what has happened in the previous couple of days, alright, Anita Sarkeesian has now, and it's been reported by GameSpot, Anita Sarkeesian has now got the FBI involved in her death threat, that's right, case. Now, here's the thing. The article goes on to say that, because for some reason they link Polygon, and they're like, according to Polygon, their reports is that Anita Sarkeesian has finally, come out with a police report. Here's what I think about that police report. It's a bunch of garbage. I say this due to the fact that for anyone who's watched the other videos in the previous 2 weeks or so, you would know that I've been calling for a police report. Because Anita Sarkeesian was saying how, she felt those death threats were forcing her out of her home and she needed to contact the authorities. And all we heard was, oh, she's talking to the FBI. Let's get something straight here. No one just goes to the FBI or just contacts the FBI. No, you have to go to the local police first to see what they can do. Then you move up the ladder when it comes to the FBI, okay? However, what does this tell you? If the FBI is really involved, okay, that means that opens the door for any other gamer, whether it's you or me or anyone else. If you receive a death threat, you should contact the FBI. Now, we saw this a couple weeks ago with the Gamers Developers Association, where they got the FBI involved as well with gamer harassment. I'm sorry, not gamer harassment, online harassment with them. And what did I say? This is for them. It is not for gamers in general when it comes to online harassment. And now we're seeing that become true, right? Okay. Now, within all of this, Zoe Quinn, Zoe Quinn, who doesn't know when to shut up, Zoe Quinn gets on the defensive and talks about Anita Sarkeesian and saying that, what is she supposed to do? If she comes out and shows you the police report, then that means you'll get her information. If she, takes out, bits and pieces of that police report, you'll say it's Photoshop, it's not real. And if she doesn't provide a police report, that means that she's lying. Let's get something straight, Zoe Quinn, because you were so quick to come to her defense that you didn't even think about common sense. Remember, Anita Sarkeesian contacted the police. She contacted the police because her information was compromised to begin with. Because of the death threats. Because they had her information. So, giving out her information is already there. It doesn't matter. However, also understand, once again, if you had a police report and you filled out a police report, it's official, it would be public domain. Okay? Which we haven't seen. You can get that on the internet. Alright? Haven't seen any of it. Matter of fact, Anita Sarkeesian is lying. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I will put a video in the info bar from one Davis MJ Arini, who actually called, he's on video, calling the police department and talking to them about this case. And they are replying to him saying, on the phone, there's no such police report. It doesn't exist. So there you have it. She's been lying. However, I will put it like this. There are some people who are saying, well, maybe the FBI told the police department, to keep it on hush-hush. It doesn't work that way. You just can't contact the FBI and they say, keep everything quiet. It doesn't work that way. You have to go to your local authorities first. All right? And I will say this as well. Anita Sarkeesian, I will bet any amount of money, I'll go all in on this, all right, for this police report that Polygon is talking about. I guarantee you that the date on that police report does not match the date of the time that she had those death threats and left her place, of comfort. I guarantee you it was current. Because this is what they do to try to save their ass. And you can't save your ass. And I'm talking about gaming journalists. We've seen this as of late. We all know about, the articles that have come out recently within all these sites. Gamers are dead and, harassment of Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian and how it's wrong and gamers are just man-children. We've seen these articles pop up time and time again. And we said they really want to destroy their consumer base. Now we're finding out exactly why this happens. Now, before I get started on this part, I'm sure a number of you say, time and time again, when you read an article, you say, well, why don't they cover this part? Well, why don't they cover this part? You know, oh, we can talk about feminism in gaming, but we can't talk about racism in gaming. And why don't they cover that? And we see these, and we have constant questions like that. Well, you cover this part of a game, but not this part. There's a reason. We're going to talk about this today. That's right. For those who don't know, an article has come out, all right? The secret email list of the gaming journalism elite. That's right. With the facts and everything that shows you that gaming journalists are putting pressure. They send out an email to a number of journalists and say, look, this is what you need to talk about. This is how you need to talk about it. And if you don't want to talk about these things, well, we're going to pressure you. We saw people from Kotaku pressure people from 4chan and other forums to shut down posts about Zoe Quinn. That's right. We've seen not too long ago, and I'm going to bring up Boogie again real quick, because for those who don't know what happened, Boogie not too long ago, because a lot of you idiots came in that was defending him, well, they're his friends in journalism. He has to apologize to Kotaku. Let's get something straight. It seems a number of you don't know what the term friends really mean, because for those who don't know what happened, his friends pressured him. They put the squeeze on him not too long ago, and they told Boogie, all right, if you don't stop talking about Gamergate this way, you're not going to be able to get into the industry. That's what they told him. And we saw not too long ago, at first, Boogie complied with them and was like, okay, I'm not going to talk about this much. And then not too long ago, we saw him say, you know what? I don't care what they have to say. I'm going to stand up for the community. That's what he said. We'll see if that happens, but we're starting to see this a lot now. People are starting to get pressured. They want you to stop talking about it. Why? Because Gamergate now is becoming a real thing, and it is hurting their process. That's what it is. Why else would you put pressure on somebody? Why else? Okay? Also, for those who don't know, Thunderfoot came out not too long ago and did a video saying that the so-called, social justice warriors, they flagged his Twitter down and he was suspended. That's right. Now, mind you, he wasn't even on Twitter for a number of days before this happened. He didn't even know. He was at work. He was out in real life. Then when he came back on, he realized, wait a minute, I'm suspended. So it goes to show you, I know a lot of people say Thunderfoot does things, has a lot of extremes the way he goes about things, but he hasn't done anything to warrant him getting suspended from Twitter. It goes to show you they're trying to shut up a lot of people now. This is what they're doing. This list tells you exactly what they're doing. I'm telling you, listen, it's in the info bar. Please read this article. It goes to show you that all these backdoor dealings and all this, no man, this is something they cannot escape. So for them to sit here and say, well, I was harassed, and well, guess what? Welcome to the internet. It happens. But also understand, they are doing all these things now to protect their own ass. They got caught, now they want to blame other people. They want to deflect it on other issues. That's what they're doing right now. And it's not working. It's just not working. It's hilarious. You just watch them burn. That's how I see things. Because I'll put it like this. For those who did not see Anita Sarkeesian's seminar, I will say, not too long ago, her stage presence that she had, it was called Listen and Believe. So when a woman tells you that she has been harassed online, you should believe it without any proof. You gotta be kidding me! No way in hell. First off, you should know. If you don't know somebody online and they say something without any proof, you don't believe them. Thus, why I give you the links in the info bar. So also that you can make up your own decisions, but that's the proof so that you know I'm not lying what I'm talking about. I'm just not talking out of my ass here. I'm giving you the information. That's what it's about. For her to come up with a seminar and have her seals, oh, that's great. That's also great. You're great, Anita. You've got to be kidding me. No way should you believe anybody, whether it's man or woman, on the internet without any proof that of these claims. No way. It's called being smart. It's called not being gullible. I'm just saying. That's what it's called. There's a reason we have things that are called rumors and hearsay as opposed to facts. But it seems like they don't want to talk about that. No. They don't want to talk about that. See? This is something that's going to snowball. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So for people who are saying, yeah, stay consistent, stay on the level when it comes to Gamergate, by all means, yes, go ahead and do that. But understand, we have a number of gamers we have seen not too long ago that are just running this into the ground and give them ammo to say, hey, this is not about gaming journalism anymore. It's a shouting match. That's what it feels like. And if you look on Twitter, you look at other places, that's what it does seem like. But understand, there are level-headed people out there that will give you information. that are looking into things. Like I said, I will put the link in the info bar. I'll put the video in the info bar so that you can see Anita Sarkeesian is lying. I don't understand how, within all these lies that we have seen in the previous 4 weeks from the gaming journalist and Anita Sarkeesian for a previous couple of years, how you can still have a backing. I don't understand this. How can you lie so much and still get away with this? This is going to get worse. The rabbit hole is going to go deeper. However, we do need to talk about some serious issues real quick. I want to talk about, because of all this, you've seen all the harassment, you've seen the potential violence that could come from this. Once again, California has shown its ugly head. We've seen this time and time again when it comes to against video games and violence and things that they try to connect the two. And as we know, as gamers in our community, there is no connection. They've done reports, they've spent a number of millions of dollars on this. The president himself has done these type of, has spent millions of dollars on these, these tests that say, does gaming link to violence? And every one of them come up, no, they don't link to violence. Okay? We've seen that. Now, I will put it like this. We've seen in California, Leland Yee, at one point, he was trying to put in that work about how, gaming and violence, and it's connected, and then we saw Leland Yee, we saw what happened with him, how he was trying to smuggle, trying to get illegal weapons and carry on. He lost his job. Okay? Violence, though, video games. However, California has done it again. Marin County, alright? They are having a toy gun and video game trade-in program. And for those who don't know what that is, they're doing just like your regular gun programs. For those who don't know what these regular trading gun programs are, it's in bad neighborhoods where you can come in anonymously and trade in real weapons, and they give you vouchers and stipends and possibly money to go for something else, whether it goes to grocery stores or clothing outlets or whatever. So they'll give you money for the gun that you're trading in with no questions asked, and then, you'll get money for it. It's to keep guns off the street, to keep the violence off the street. This way they're doing it. They're saying that toy guns, create violence, and video games. They're implying that this is also a problem. Now, for those who say, well, Vent, they're only implying, I don't know if that's what they mean. I will back it up with another link. Marin County DA says that video games cause domestic violence. That's absolutely ridiculous. We've seen, isolated cases of this happen every once in a while. A father hits his son or whatever, or we've seen fathers smother their kids, mothers smother their kids because they wanted to play Farmville. We saw that years ago. But don't tell me that video games cause domestic violence. It doesn't. There's no supporting evidence for this. But yet, this is what they're going to do. So, like I said, they're trying to say that video games cause violence, and you know what that means. If you're playing video games, then you're a violent person. That's what it means. We've seen it from time and time again. I told you before, not only do you have the gaming journalists trying to turn on you and call you a bunch of names, like I said, you also have people on the outside of our community calling you a bunch of names and calling you, and pretty much accusing you of being killers, rapists, and everything else. Gamers just get it everywhere. But you have to stay vigilant. You do. You have to stay on the level and understand that you can't overreact to things at times. However, we will keep going because, for those who don't know, this is a sad thing. A pro gamer was murdered trying to sell his PS4 on Craigslist. That's right. He met up with the couple, which was a 16-year-old mother and her 20-year-old partner, and they robbed him right there at gunpoint with the child with them. The child was with them when they did the robbery. That's right. Robbed him, shot him, and killed him in the chest over a PS4. This is ridiculous. But, of course, acts like these, which are shameful, which are despicable. Because you want a PS4? Really, a PS4? You just couldn't save money up to get one, huh? But even if you're going to, buy it, there's no way. There's no way that you can think that you were going to get away with that. We've seen too many, but where's the FBI for this type of stuff? Online harassment for Anita Sarkeesian, we can investigate that. People who are being duped and being shot, you're not investigating. Why? Because local authorities deal with that. Just like they deal with harassment. But no one wants to talk about that, right? No. Like I said, you got to start from the bottom and work your way up the ladder. But it seems like everybody wants to say, you can just contact the FBI and they'll just take your matter right away. Every gamer that has been harassed should be able to contact the FBI going by Anita Sarkeesian's logic. Going by developers' logic. Oh, I forgot. This is more of who you know about contacts. People understand. I have seen as of late, a lot of people keep saying, Anita Sarkeesian isn't relevant. That is a damn lie. She only does those videos to keep her face in the cameras, we know this, in the papers and all this type of stuff. But understand, all the backdoor dealings, all the connections that she has, that makes her a very powerful person. She is very relevant. So don't sit here and tell me she's not relevant anymore. We know that her videos are full of crap. We know that. That's not the point. The point is, the connections that she's made, the companies that she's worked with, these are all a part of that. It's all part of the brain, the brainstem. It really is. She's very relevant right now. She is more of a threat than you think when it comes to hurting your video games. And we're not talking, oh, she's going to take away her video games. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, for every idealistic thing that she has, and we know can be absolute crap, understand that those type of things are what hurts our community. She's very relevant. I'm tired of hearing that she's not. You need to look at things for what they are and stop being in denial. Especially if you want to sit here and talk about how you're for, transparency. You just can't ignore something like that. You can ignore her videos if you want, by all means, please, because as you know, you walk away from her videos, that's it, But her inside dealings is what you have to look at. If you're going to judge someone like that, like Anita Sarkeesian, look at it as in a whole. Don't just look at her over, on the surface of, oh, she makes YouTube videos. Don't do that. That is the worst mistake you can make. I'm just saying. Let's move on. I want to talk about EA and their bullshit. That's right. For those who don't know, EA is aiming to establish a player-first culture. No way! No, look, EA, this is the same EA that started online passes. This is the same EA that gets you every time for DLC and milk you. This is the same EA that told you not too long ago, well, we can raise our prices to at least $70, $80 and try to get you. This is the same EA that told you, hey, players first, we're going to give you EA access and we're going to take the public demo from Madden away from everyone unless you sign up for EA access. Yeah, because players come first. Get out of my face with this, EA. Matter of fact, for those who know the oncoming, the inside joke of things, hey, EA, you want to start with players first? Where's my title? Where's my title, EA? I'm just saying. Anyways, we're going to keep moving on because players first, EA, right? EA axes player trading in FIFA 15 Ultimate Team. No longer is there player trading. And they go on to say, well, people were using phishing schemes and getting money out of it. So, because we have a small minority trying to hustle people, you're going to sit here and say that everybody needs to suffer for that, huh, EA? Or is this about money? Is it about money? Player first, right? Player first, you went and spent all that money on advertising, you got Kevin Hart for Madden, yet you got miniature characters running around in Madden. You didn't take the money to fix that, did you? Players first, though. Let's keep going. EA says that the iPhone 6, that's right, the iPhone 6 is on par with next-generation consoles. If that's the case, EA, then guess what? You don't need to make games for next-generation consoles anymore. You would just use that money and put it on the iPhone 6, right? You would just make games for the iPhone 6. Because, if this is about, pushing a broader fan base, because as you know, most casual consumers don't have a console system, a gaming console system, no. But they have an iPhone, but they have an iPad, right? Okay then. So if it has the same strength, that's what you would go with if this was about business. Players first, EA. Players first. You understand that these type of statements that you make you look bad. Don't tell me that a cell phone has the same power as a next generation console. And if it does have the same power as a next generation console, because they talk about specs, understand this really quick, alright? There's no need to buy a big bulky console if that's the case, right? There's no need. There wouldn't be. There's a reason those consoles are so big, alright? Don't sit here and say this, EA. You should know better. But this is all part of the gaming politics of things when it comes with EA. There is more. That's right. EA says that the iWatch could be the future of gaming platforms. EA, do you understand that this has been done before? This was done back in the 90s, so this is not a new concept. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, we can talk about the Tiger Watch. Ah, those were the good old days. They're so great. Now, I've shown on video before. I still have the whole handheld Tiger systems I've shown you before on video. But you have to understand, if you're going to put this much stock into the iWatch, first off, I'm already against the iWatch. At first, I was for it. All right, until I saw the concepts. It was like, yeah, I'm for this. Apple, you had one job. All you had to do was follow this concept. And of course, like all companies, they don't listen to fan, feedback when they're seeing things and saying, I'm hoping that this is it. Instead, Apple, no, you went and produced this. As far as I'm concerned, dead on arrival. It doesn't look sleek. It doesn't look like the future. And I put it like this. It may be a little bit more accessible than what it seems, but I really would have thought that they would have taken a risk and tried to say, look, this is the next generation of stuff. This is the new thing. And I haven't seen anything that Android hasn't already done. And speaking of Android, all right, because for those who don't know, the iPhone 6, I'm not going to get on too much, all right? Because the iPhone 6, as we know, the features that they're getting for the iPhone 6, Android users have had for a very long time. So Apple fans, understand, you really need to look at what's going on, all right, and see just what they're doing. You're getting stuff years late at this point. You really are. However, I do want to move on and talk more about EA because players first, right? Players first. Okay, players first, EA. If The Sims 4 isn't a success, there won't be a Sims 5. So let's get this straight. EA, players first. EA, understand that you are sitting here and you are trying to pressure gamers into getting something they don't want. All right? We saw last week when we talked about The Sims 4, all the complaints about The Sims 4, okay? Now you're saying, okay, well, we should just, look, if you want a Sims 5, you're going to have to get Sims 4. We've seen this as a number of years as late, have we not? We've seen a number of developers try and do this with games. Well, if you don't support this game, you're not going to get a sequel. Look, if that's what you have to do and try and sell products, you have lost your way. You should just let the games speak for itself. But it's not what you're doing here, are you? No, you've decided that you want to try and put gamers in a bind. And you shouldn't be doing that. You should be ashamed of yourself. Gamers first! Let's move on because I want to talk about Smash Brothers. Now, let's go back last week, that well-endowed, busty chick. She said, no one's going to play Super Smash Bros, not Smash Brothers, Super Smash Bros because it's on the Wii U. She didn't really think about the fact that it was going to come to the 3DS first, did she? Yeah, because for those who do not know, all right, Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS hits already 1 million sales in 2 days. 2 days, alright? Success, as far as I'm concerned. Now, we're going to talk about Smash Brothers, because for those who don't know, players are being banned. There's a bug where players are being banned for picking up certain items, and if you use Princess Peach. That's right. Now, I want to talk about this, because they're talking about how they're going to fix that ban as fast as possible, alright? It's a bug. It is a bug. As fast as possible. However, they are issuing bans for players for using lack of behavior. And for those who know what I'm talking about, if you decide to rage quit or gang up on players, this is going to get you in the result of a ban. And as of late, since we already talked about sexism, I guess we should bring it up one more time. One more. Just a little bit, alright? For those who don't know, Nintendo is being criticized for Samus Aran's character design, saying that she is now being over-sexualized. It's kind of funny because Sakurai has come out and responded, kind of in a trolling way, but he really gets his point across with what he says about people who think that Samus is very over-sexualized. Now, for those who are looking forward to Smash Bros. To Wii U, let's put it like this, okay? Your release date is November 21st. That's right. Now, a lot of you have already asked me, Event, are you going to get Smash Brothers for the Wii U? Yes, I'll be getting it. We will be running tournaments, all right? We're still trying to get together everybody for a Mario Kart 8 tournament, but it seems like we're having some problems right now due to the fact that we can't get everyone's schedule involved just to do an exhibition run. Because we don't know, everyone's work schedule, school schedule. It's kind of hard, okay? However, I do want to move on. I want to talk about Microsoft, all right? As you know, Microsoft has bought out Mojang. That's right. And now, since they've bought out Mojang, the creator of Minecraft is leaving his studio. That's right. He's leaving the studio. And he gives everyone a nice, goodbye letter. It does. If you want to read the goodbye letter or whatever, I'll put the link in the info bar, okay? So also, more Microsoft news. That's right. Chinese Xbox One games contain a one-time activation code and cannot be resold. This is horrible, alright? First off, we saw this big uprising with us when it came to gamers when they try to do that here in the West, okay? So they take it to the East where they don't sell as much, and you expect this to go okay? I will put it like this. If the East catch on to this and they latch onto it, as in it's okay, they may try to do this again in the West, alright? However, they should take a cue from us and say, no, this is not right. As we know, Microsoft already takes a hit overseas when it comes to their system. There is no way in hell you should be doing this, Microsoft. You shouldn't. I understand you're trying to secure those sales, but that's ridiculous. Now I want to move on. I don't know if y'all can hear that behind me. There's been helicopters, there's been airplanes, construction. It is like the perfect storm today for me when it comes to recording. It just is. We're going to keep moving. That was a motorcycle just not too long ago. I want to move on, though. I want to talk about malware. For those who don't know, Twitch people that use Twitch, whether it's in chat or use it, to record, there's been malware distributed through Twitch chat that is hijacking Steam accounts. So be very careful, Twitch users. Just letting you know, okay? Don't fall for it. Now, I do want to move on, and we get some somewhat good news. All right, Namco says to everyone, if you want Xenosaga, that's right, an HD collection, tell your friends. Pretty much, Namco knows that you want a Xenosaga HD collection. Everyone knows this, alright? But they just want to generate hype to get you to say, hey, make sure you keep bothering about it. They want to see the fan reaction, even though they know the fan reaction already. I don't understand this when it comes to that part. However, I understand that they just want to generate buzz. They want you to spread the word because this is possibly going to happen. And I put it like this, if it does happen, I'll buy it. I have the original Xenosagas here. I'll buy an HD collection if it's cheap. I don't have a problem with that. You know, it's worth it. Xenosaga is a really good series. So I'm definitely for it. Now, I want to move on. I want to talk about one Will Ferrell. For those who do not know, I don't know if y'all can hear that. It's very loud. So I'm going to speak a little bit louder now because of that. Alright? One Will Ferrell. He is trying to do a cancer charity via gameplay, Twitch gameplay. And what he's going to do is, he's going to do just like how I do and other people do. You know, we play video games for charity for said cause. So what Will Ferrell is doing is, he is going to challenge one gamer, that's right, one gamer, to play with him online and stream it gameplay as long as you make gold. There's 2 different links in the info bar that gives you all the information that you need. They need to make gold apparently, and he's being sponsored by Xbox and I believe Amazon as well. That's right. But here's the problem I have with that. If you're going to sponsor him, Xbox and Amazon, why aren't you putting this up yourselves? Why aren't you putting up the money? And if so, why aren't you sponsoring other gamers as well? If this is something that we're going to do for a good cause when it comes to celebrities, then we need to start calling out more celebrities as far as I'm concerned. And I'll put it like this. When you have celebrities that have done commercials for video games or sponsor video game systems, those should be the first ones to step up and say, alright, I'm going to do a charity with said video game. Those should be the ones, alright? That needs to be called out. You know what? Maybe they should do it like the Ice Bucket Challenge, the ALS Challenge. You start challenging celebrities via camera to start doing these charities, you know, or else, I guess. You know, that's pretty much what it is. To raise awareness. Maybe that's what you need to do. Because if the Ice Bucket Challenge was that, I mean, let's be honest here, that was a very successful campaign. Why can't we keep that going, but with other causes? That's what I want to know. Now, I do want to move on. I want to talk about Resident Evil Revelations 2. That's right. For those who don't know, it will be released episodically. That's right. So, bits and pieces, Capcom is going to give you Revelations 2. Now, a lot of people are upset about this due to the fact that, as we know, Capcom has the money. As we know, the reason they are doing this is because, okay, I should say, for those who don't know, okay, Capcom, the game itself, Revelations, the first one, which I'm still going to play. A lot of you still want to see me play it. I'm going to play it for October Game Fear Month. Capcom has decided that this game did not sell well enough. That's right. It was successful, as we know, from our point of view, the game was successful. It was what we wanted out of, you know, Resident Evil, but Capcom felt that the sales weren't enough. So what they're going to do is they're going to pull a Walking Dead, like Telltale Games, and give it to you piece by piece. Which I feel, and many others feel, it's wrong, but we understand why they're doing it. Okay? That's both sides of the spectrum, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I do want to talk about this that we've seen as of late, Sega. For those who don't know, Alien Isolation will have 6 months worth of DLC coming down the line. That's right, 6 months. Sega, I don't understand what the hell you're thinking. after Colonial Marines, and you know fans were very upset at what happened with Colonial Marines, you should be trying to get back into the fans' good graces with the Alien franchise. You know better than this, don't you, Sega? There's no way you should be milking and nickeling and diming your consumers after the failed project of Colonial Marines, because, you know, for those who don't know, you know, Gearbox and Sega are pointing fingers at each other on who's to blame for that. Alright? We all know the facts of what happened, okay? But, here's the thing. Sega, you should not be doing this. Bottom line. You gotta get back in the fans' good graces first before you decide to do 6 months of DLC. Make it free. Make it free. It goes to show you 6 months of DLC, and they've been doing this, and the game's not out yet? What does that tell you? What does it tell you? So I'll put it like this. If the original product for Aliens Isolation, if there's any bugs or glitches, you can give them hell. Give them hell. Because there's no way you can sit here and plan for 6 months of DLC ahead of time, and you're already making it because you've already finished the game, but there's going to be bugs and fixes. You should be taking that time to polish the game. Okay. Let's move on. Bungie. That's right. We know when it comes to politics, and we should talk about that. Bugs, fixes, and polishes. We know as of late the review scores for Destiny. That's right. Bungie is coming out and personally challenging gamers. That's right. But only on the PS4. That's right. So pretty much forget the PS3. They don't care about that. No. They feel as though only on the PS4. As long as you go out and get a PS4 and Destiny for the PS4, they will challenge you. We are seeing this type of exclusive, this type of exclusive thing for next gen or last gen as of late. We're seeing this a lot more. We saw with EA a couple weeks ago with NHL, 15, where they came out with the Xbox One and the PS4 version, and it was missing half of the features that the PS3 version and 360 version had. And now they're talking about, we talked about last week, where they're going to slowly but surely feed you those features, which is absolutely wrong. All right? We see right now with Bungie challenging people only on the PS4. Also, WWE 2K15. For those who don't know, they're having like a be a player, create a character, work your way up from NXT all the way up to the WWE. That feature for being your own character or being another wrestler and doing that, career mode, is only on the PS4 and Xbox One. So once again, now they're giving you exclusive features on next-gen consoles or last-gen consoles instead of giving you a competent full product. That is a problem, and it needs to be addressed. They should be ashamed of themselves. These companies they're going to hurt themselves like this. I've said earlier this week about gaming journalism. What did I say? I said that gaming has been around long before clickbait, garbage websites. And guess what? Spoilers. It will be around afterwards too. Alright? But when you do things like this, companies, and you decide to try and nickel and dime your consumer, people are going to walk away. You're going to hurt your own company. If you don't believe me, go look at THQ. And a number of other companies that fell in last, do you want to say last generation? I still think it's current generation, because not enough people have an Xbox One or a PS4 yet. So I still want to say current generation, okay? It is ridiculous that we are seeing these things. But hey, gamers first.